Hello guys, welcome to Apache Kafka Zero to Hero tutorial. In this video, I'll introduce Apache Kafka to you. Let's get into it. So Apache Kafka is an open source streaming data platform and it's a real-time messaging system. So Apache Kafka operates like a traditional message queue, but it differs from it in some ways. So traditional message queue have some limitations. So in order to overcome those limitations, Apache Kafka introduced some more features that can be usable for the users to work with it. So I'll explain this in a graphical representation. Let's see. In message queue, one of the limitations is in message queues, the only it allows only one consumer to consume messages from the queue. But in Kafka, it allows multiple consumers to consume messages from the queue. So like this, you can see here in message queues, the producer can produce a topic or message into the queue, and the only one consumer can subscribe to that message at one time. But in Kafka, it allows multiple consumers to consume the messages from the Kafka. So Kafka overcome these limitations produced by the messages queue. The second limitations in traditional message queues was um, in message queues, once the message is delivered to the consumers, it deletes the messages from the queue. Like you can see, once the messages got delivered to the consumer, the messages in the messages queue is automatically get deleted. But in Kafka, it retains the messages even after it's get delivered. So you can see the producer puts the topic into the Kafka queue and it consumed by the consumer one and two. But still, the messages in the queue retains for future purposes, like if if got any for scalability for the if any consumer one or consumer two got failed. So the messages in the queue will retain for the future use. In this way, the Kafka overcomes the limitations of traditional message queues. Now let's discuss some of the use cases of Kafka in real time, in the real world problems. Like in use cases of Kafka is like it is used for messagings. The Kafka will be used in website activity trackings, for metric collections, monitoring, commit logs, event sourcing, and even in real-time analytics and so on. In some other use cases, like mostly the Kafka is used in microservices where we need to communicate between the different services. It'll provide the real-time data processing between those services in order to decouple the systems to split the responsibilities between the services. There we can use Kafka as well. So as a summary, let's see Kafka as a summary. So it's like a more Kafka is like open source streaming platform, as I said, and it's facilitates real-time messaging between the different services in the micro services architecture. It operates like a traditional queue, but it works beyond the traditional message queues, as we discussed in these limitations. What are the limitations means? In message queues, it only one consumer to subscribe to the messages, but in Kafka, it allows multiple consumers to subscribe to the topic. And the second limitation is in message queue, once the message got delivered to the consumer, it get deleted in the message queue. But in Kafka queue, once the messages got delivered to the consumers, but still it retains the messages in the Kafka queue. So these are the limitations overcome by the Apache Kafka. And also we have discussed about the use cases like where it is used in the real world applications like messaging, website activity tracking, metric collections, monitoring, commit logs, event sourcing, and even in the real time analytics and so on. In the upcoming tutorials, we will deep dive into the Apache Kafka architectures and its key components. Uh, we will discuss each component more in detail, like what is events, how producers and consumers behave, and how brokers and clusters are used for high availability and scalability, and how topics, partitions, offsets plays a huge crucial role in Kafka architecture. There is a lot more to discuss about the Apache Kafka. So stay tuned. We'll meet in other tutorial. Thank you.